I'm lost in darkness, searching for light. Every step forward feels like a fight. Shadows of doubt creep in my mind, but I refuse to surrender. I must find a way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. The weight of the world crushes me down. Fear and uncertainty all around. But I deep find inner strength and face the trials length by length. A way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes, like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my heart reborn. I've walked through fire and emerged scarred, but wiser, stronger, and unmarred. My existence is a test of will, of trials overcome, of a soul made bold. The way of the world, above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Oh, made bold. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my spirit unborn. I'm lost in darkness, searching for light. Every step forward feels like a fight. Shadows of doubt creep in my mind, but I refuse to surrender. I must find. Day to day, nothing changes. All I want is a moment to think clearly, but thoughts come unrelenting, consuming every waking moment. My mind binds me and I can't escape. I shout for help when no one hears me. One day I feel I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace.
Hey, greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Dirt Sheet Radio NXT Post-Show Rewind. It is September the 2nd, 2025, and I'm Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster, here, as always, with little Molly Holly, the long-haired Chihuahua. Folks, we will be flying solo this evening, but next week I have heard rumor that we're going to have a full studio. for you guys. But we'll just be me and Molly breaking down and talking the developmental brand with you fine folks here this evening. And guys, before we can get into it tonight, before we can talk about all of the goodness on tonight's episode, I do have to give the shout out on the us on the web. DirtSheetRadio.com for all of your pop culture, professional wrestling, entertainment needs. Check it out. Make it your homepage. Look at it multiple times a day, just like we do. Not because we're legally obligated, but because we love to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we had a fun show tonight. We had a good show. A lot to cover, they have a lot of announced events going forward here. No Mercy coming up, Halloween Havoc coming up, and on a personal note, I saw via Twitter today, and this is something. Oh, Molly, you going to go that way? Okay, and this is something that I find exciting as someone who lives here in parts unknown Ohio, as you guys know, which is to be Columbus, to be more specific. But
what's going on, guys? I made a big announcement yesterday in Cleveland, but right now I am in the horseshoe, or the shoe, Ohio State, Texas, and I couldn't think of a better way to make a big announcement that NXT is coming back to Columbus this October. Go to WWE.com for more details very soon.
So that's pretty exciting, from where I sit in Columbus, Ohio. So yeah, I guess coming up here next month, NXT will be in my neck of the woods, which means I probably won't be available that night to do this rewind unless it's much later. But yeah, so just want to get that in at the top of the program tonight because I am excited about that. But all right, guys, so tonight's program came to us live from the Performance Center down in Florida. And going into the program, we had a few matches announced on the docket. Our main event tonight was to be an 8-man tag. It was Femi, Ricky Saints, and Hank and Tank taking on the DarkState, the new and reigning tag team champions. Lash Legend taking on Jaida Parker one-on-one. And then the first round of the Speed Tournament, Candice LeRae from SmackDown taking on Zia Brookside from TNA. It was cool getting to see Zia here tonight, but we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, so the program this evening opened up, as most weeks do, with talent filtering into the building as Vic Joseph and Booker T ran down the program, and I really enjoyed that Hank and Tank. They were walking into the Performance Center with a rotisserie chicken. I love it. I feel truly represented when Hank and Tank are on my television screen. They're lucky, though. Walking through the NXT parking lot with something as precious and, valuable, quite frankly, as a delicious rotisserie chicken. It's a dangerous parking lot. They're lucky that nothing bad happened to them or the rotisserie chicken, because that would have been just truly terrible if that would have happened. But yeah, we went from everyone making their way into the building to our opening match right off the rip. We had Jaida Parker, of course, coming out to a chorus of Miss Parker chants, followed by Lash Legend as they were set to take each other on one here tonight. And they had a great match here. Good action, bell to bell. Parker and Legend, despite Lash, I think having, not having a little bit of time on the main roster, she did have a little bit of time up on the main roster. So she's had a little bit of that shine up there. People are a little more familiar with her. But I really think that for all intents and purposes, she and Jaida Parker are on pretty equal footing here when it comes to NXT. But yeah, really fun match between the two. When it was all said and done, though, Jaida Parker took the loss here tonight. We had Lash Legend getting the win. This is, I'm not going to say this other than it's a pretty big win, honestly, for Lash. This, CJ and I talked about this last week. There is a lot of, congestion, for lack of a better word, in the women's division in NXT. It is so crowded because it's just so full of talent. It's a fantastic division. I think one of, if not the best, in women's wrestling. But it's very crowded, and wins and losses mean a lot here. And, so that means they, you would think on paper here, at the very least, they are looking to elevate Lash a little more or push her a little more heavily than Jaida. But I can't, go without mentioning the fact that Jaida did attack Lash after the match and drove her through the barricade. Sore loser is Miss Jaida Parker, but that's okay. That is okay. But yeah, like I said, good match. Both women looked great here because both women are great. Lash Legend has come a long way since we've started doing these Dirt Sheet Radio NXT rewinds. And I think she's looking good. And she pretty much is main roster ready. It's just there's not a lot of space up there right now either. And Jaida Parker, she came a long way a lot more quickly. Jaida is just, I say this so often, but I feel like I need to say it as often as I have the opportunity to do so. But Jaida Parker is absolutely, without question, 100% the real deal. She has every single thing you need to be a professional wrestler for decades. It's going to be a main event player for a very, very, very long time. Her time on the main roster will come. But, so Lash gets the win here, but, Jaida gets the physical victory, I guess, especially over the barricade. I do want to mention also during that match, we did have a quick cutaway that showed sorry, a cat just ran across my lap. that showed Javon Evans walking into the arena late after the show had already begun and looking a little sad, a little sullen. But yeah, so backstage after that match, we had a little bit of a quick, again, makeup spot, just like last week. Little mention here of Maybelline between Blake Monroe and Ariana Grace. And Ariana and Blake seem to have gotten along here. I think this is they even made mention of this being their first interaction with one another. But they have similar personalities. I don't know what they're doing with Stax and Ariana Grace, but I could definitely see them potentially using Grace as a an underling of Blake. And I could, they got to find some stuff. Ariana's a good character, not the best in ring as far as NXT has to offer, but she's a good character. But after they had their little conversation there, the camera panned away as Jordynne Grace ran into the scene to cause a bit of chaos. And then Jordynne was confronted by Callie Armstrong, who is the Evolve Women's Champion, who was quite angry with Jordynne as she feels that Jordynne ruined her NXT debut several weeks ago. I think she was wrestling Kalani Jordan, if my memory serves. A lot happens in wrestling, guys. A lot happens. But this would set up for a match between Grace and Armstrong. So I should specify Jordynne Grace, not Ariana Grace. More than one Grace in NXT. But this would set up for a match between the two of them later tonight. And from there, we headed back into the Performance Center where we saw the young OG, Javon Evans, make his way to the ring. Not full of the usual bounce for, as he has. He's usually quite bouncy. Was not bouncy. Less bouncy, more depressy was Javon here. This was the first time we've seen him since his loss at Heatwave, and he was definitely down from that loss. He was telling the crowd that he feels that he let everybody down, and they're chanting that they we still love you, and he appreciates that. But he was really down on himself here after that loss. And up on the screen as he was talking, you heard a motorcycle rev, and he got a little irritated with this, saying he didn't want to be messed with. Don't mess with him. And again, you hear the motorcycle rev. You see a motorcycle pull up. A boot steps off the bike, and the Undertaker's entrance theme begins. But it was not the Undertaker. It was Josh Briggs. Undertaker? Nope. Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs pulling a little bit of a trickster move here tonight, making everyone think that the Undertaker was making a unadvertised appearance in the Performance Center. I was already writing it up for the live coverage on the Dirt Sheet Radio main page and over on the Pro Wrestling Hipster page as well. But no, it was Josh Briggs to an absolute chorus of boos. People seem to hate Josh Briggs, and I don't really know if it's that they hate Josh Briggs or if it's that like he has go away heat, or if it's like actual heat. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think, but I'm not really sure what the overall feeling on Josh Briggs is here. But they don't like him. He gets booed. Okay, point is he's getting booed. And whether it's go away heat, Xbox heat, as we used to say, or legitimate, the man's getting a chorus of boos. He ran Javon down, said that Javon could never beat Oba. He's just not that good. They shared some verbal barbs here, and then Briggs just nailed Javon with a big boot. He ran out of the ring, grabbed a chair, brought the chair in the ring, and gave him a choke slam onto the edge of that chair. It was a nasty landing. And he left him laying there. So we will be getting more of a program here with Briggs and Evans going forward. There was a little bit more of a backstage segment later tonight too that would solidify that. But this is a fine segment. Javon's good on the mic. He's definitely green on it. He's not the strongest character, but like his character doesn't need to be super strong right now. His character more or less is that he's a young upstart wrestler who's generally happy to be there. He's often, not often, but tonight, very downtrodden, but usually more often than not, he's happy-go-lucky, bouncy, as it would be. And he does a good job. And I think, he stammered a little bit. There was a little bit aspect of his promo tonight that felt a hair cartoonish, but that'll come in time. He's got plenty of time to get that. He's so young. Briggs is good on the mic. Again, the boos he gets, I don't know if it's because of his heel work here, if it's because they keep putting him across from people that are really well loved, like Javon Evans or Yoshiki Inamura. But again, go away heat, legitimate heat. He's getting booed everywhere he goes. It makes me think it's more legitimate because he does get this nasty reaction pretty much in any venue. Solid segment. But heading through the show, we popped backstage briefly to see the faces that would be in tonight's main event: Hank and Tank, Ricky Saints, and the NXT champion Oba Femi, the ruler. Real quick segment here, just kind of talking about the main event that would be coming tonight. Oba got a little annoyed, a little aggravated at Hank Tank putting over Ricky here, and clearly there was tension between the NXT champion Oba Femi and the number one contender Ricky Saints. Of course, the story in these sorts of matches typically being, will they be able to keep it together and make it function as a team? All right, so from there, we were back into the Performance Center, and we had our first round speed tournament. So again, if you didn't know, now you know. The Speed Championship is at NXT now, and tonight we had our very first match in the tournament for the Women's Speed Championship. We had Zaya Brookside of TNA taking on Candice LeRae of SmackDown. LeRae getting a pretty positive reaction here from the NXT faithful, as pretty much anyone who went through the NXT system does. Doesn't matter if you're a heel, horrible heel on the main roster, you're going to get love back in the developmental brand. So it was a speed match, guys. It was, destined to be no longer than 3 minutes, as these matches are. And in just about 2.5 minutes, Candice LeRae gets the win here over Zaya Brookside. Actually, it was a good match for being 2.5 minutes. My main issue with the Speed Championship is the speed aspect. I don't like the 3-minute thing. I think it's silly. It's just, there's an air of, I don't know. there's an air of just like disbelief, I should say, of doing it this way. It's almost like when you have a 2 out of 3 falls match and the first fall happens way quicker than a fall would actually happen in a match if it were just going to be a normal match. So it's just like I feel like it artificially makes the falls happen quickly, and I get that the premise being that it was on Twitter. I understand that, but I don't know. I'm hoping maybe we can adapt it into something a little bit different than being a 3-minute rule, because it can lead to some really fun matchups. Considering that people from WWE main roster, NXT, AAA, and TNA, they're all eligible to compete for this. So like, it just really gives you a lot of cool matches. But man, that 3-minute barrier just hurts just the fun and the cool factor here. I don't know. Do you guys like the Speed Championship or the concept? Maybe I'm alone. Actually, I think I'm not alone. I think most people aren't huge on it. But we then got the updated rankings here. So yeah, I it's a Speed Championship, guys. I assume that Soul's not going to hang on to it. I don't know. She's been running around with the belt for a while now, even after we thought that the Speed Championships were no longer. But she kept running around with it. So it's there. It's there, and it is still living. But yeah, like I said, the match itself was good. Quality action. Just not enough of it. Too short. 2.5 minutes ain't long enough. It's. I think most people would agree. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So back into the backstage region, we were in the locker room where Jason. Sorry, goodness gracious, not Jason. Josh Briggs was walking back there, and everyone was kind of quieting down. He was making a big fuss. If you got something to say, say it. And Kale Dixon and Uriah Conners, Chase U, the current iteration of Chase U, they got in the face of Josh Briggs, and this led to Chase being in the face of Josh Briggs. And Uriah Conners and Kale Dixon ended up writing a check that Andre Chase was going to have to cash with funds from Chase U, presumably, which we know how he does with the funds from Chase U. Not well. It's gambled him away before. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, so this set up for a match later tonight between Josh Briggs and Andre Chase. And man, I was hopeful that Chase would do well, but we'll talk about it when we talk about it. Before we got back to the action in ring, we were back in Ava's office where we had 3 teams. We had the Calling, of course, being Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. Fatal Influence, which is, in this instance, we're talking about not JC Jane, the NXT Women's Champion, but Jasmine Nix and Fallon Henley and Zaruka, Sol, Ruka, and Zarya. Ava said that next week we would have a triple threat elimination tag team match to determine the number 1 contenders for the Women's Tag Team Championship. I wish there were just NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. It'd be cool if they came back to NXT this way. God, that'd be wonderful. I can dream. Goodness. But so after that, since we got a promo and backstage vignette with the faces going into tonight's main event, we of course had to have one from the DarkState, and we did. And this was a solid pre-taped interview here. These are always pretty good. Cutler James avoided saying anything embarrassing or vaguely homoerotic, as he tends to do. But he did, during his portion of this, talk about how he was pushed down and told he wouldn't succeed on LFG. And they showed a clip of Bubba Ray Dudley talking down to him and wishing him the best in his future endeavors. Solid work here. DarkState's good. I hope they do some good work with them with these tag team championships. We'll talk about their showing tonight, not the strongest ever, but we'll see. They kind of do a little, push and pull here with the DarkState in terms of how strong they book them. They'll let them run roughshod over people for a couple weeks and then they lose. they're the tag champs now, but we'll see what happens in tonight's main event, right? All right, so ahead of the commercial break, they advertised that Trick himself, would be making his way out to the arena to share some words with the NXT faithful. And back from the break, boom! As as promised, Trick Willie making his way to the ring. Of course, to Booker T shouting, "Oh yeah, man! I like it. Oh yeah, man!" It's what he does. I practically hear it now. Like if I hear Trick Williams' entrance theme without Booker T actually being present, I still hear it. I've internalized Booker T that strongly that I hear his voice even when he is not present. Goodness gracious. But Trick Williams, good promo here. Trick's heel promos have been getting incrementally better the longer he's been TNA champion. And I'm assuming it's because he's getting a lot more reps in here. He still gets cheered on and off, but he's getting a lot of reps in as a heel, working basically both NXT and TNA as, a heel champion. So good promo here. He's talking about how, he's again faced two brands. He is the greatest NXT superstar of all time. Nobody can step to him. And he said when he said that last week, nobody stepped to him. Not anybody from the present, not anybody from the past. Nobody came to dispute him. And of course, you knew that was going to summon someone, right, to dispute that and argue with Trick Williams. And it did. DIY making a surprise appearance in the Performance Center this evening to a massive pop and a huge amount of cheers because, again, if you went through the NXT system, doesn't matter if you are a heel on the main roster, you are going to get a hero's welcome when you appear on NXT television, especially in the Performance Center itself. But yeah, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano getting a huge reaction here. A lot of love, a lot of positivity. As our editor-chief and founder, Johnny Dirtsheet, said on Facebook tonight, DIY down in NXT cosplaying as their old selves. But yeah, they're over big here, and they were just getting so much love. And yeah, they argued with Trick, talked about Trick being a two-time NXT champion, and Tommaso Ciampa also being a two-time NXT champion, and Trick Williams being a great North American champion, and the fact that Johnny Wrestling was a three-time North American champion. And, they talked about their tag team championship. And, this was a lot of fun here. Gargano talking about how, the man he won that tag team title with must have been super strong and bald and cool, and he was a great partner until like the credit words would pop up at the end of the show. That seemed to make him a little cranky. It's a little tongue in cheek. They're a lot of fun, if you know, kind of stuff. But good promo, and this of course led into them, starting to dig into Trick as they put over NXT in general. I did like the line that Gargano said. When they were in NXT, it didn't matter if you were a demon or a hugger or undisputed or glorious. It's the passion that made him great. It was a good promo. But guys, you know that they're not going to come out and not get a little bit physical, right? And yeah, Trick Williams got punked out here. To be completely honest, DIY just laid him the hell out. That's a meme-worthy shot. But yeah, they laid him out here to a massive eruption from the crowd, and yeah, fun segment. Again, it's NXT kind of exists in its own bubble to an extent, which makes sense as it's developmental. But so ignoring the fact that a heel team got a massively babyface pop and reaction, wonderful segment in the bubble of NXT. But yeah, Trick, man, just Trick just got laid out. I don't know. I will say later in the night, and I don't know. Usually, I don't usually go this out of order, but Trick did angrily. He was walking out of the performance center, and the camera caught up with him, and he said that he would see them next week. So yeah, so Trick will address what DIY did to him next week. So maybe we'll get a little bit more out of this, which means that they will be getting a wonderful babyface reaction again, if they do. All right. So from there, backstage, we were in the trainer's room where Javon was being treated, and Ava wanted to make sure he was okay, and also she said to Javon that Javon could stay in the arena here tonight, provided he promised that he not interfere in the main event, and he agreed to that. He said that that wasn't a problem. But yeah, God, Javon's good, guys. It says something that again, like he is continually in PLA main events. He is in multiple segments a night, so clearly they have a lot of faith in him. They have a lot of faith. After that, we were staying in the backstage area. I believe this was an earlier today segment where we got a little more between the ongoing feud between Tavion Heights and Ethan Page, where Tavion gave the Canadian flag back to Ethan, saying that, like, this is yours, you left this. And he said no, it's something he wants him to keep, And they bickered back and forth here. And Ava stepped in and she announced that next week we're going to be getting a flag match. When was the last time we had a flag match? We're getting a flag match between Tavion Heights and Ethan Page. And Tavion said to Ethan that next week he will have to acknowledge the American flag. Not the tribal chief, but the American flag. Tavion had a good line here tonight. He called Ethan Page one maple syrup sipping ass Canadian. That can't fit on a t-shirt, but it should be on a t-shirt. Absolutely loved that line. Fantastic stuff, guys. So just continuing the feud between them. This eventually has to lead to Tavion Heights winning the North American Championship, right? Am I alone in that? No? All right. Back in the Performance Center, the NXT arena, if you will. We had our next match. Callie Armstrong coming out, the Evolve Women's Champion, to take on Jordan Grace 1-on-1. And this was good, guys. I had a lot of fun watching this one. A lot of big power spots here. Kelly Armstrong's pretty damn good. I've heard through the channels on the interwebs that apparently management is pretty high on her. She's a little bit older than Jordan Grace, which was surprising to find out. But yeah, she's good. So maybe they're high on her, and maybe they're looking to elevate her pretty quickly here. Good match. But Jordan Grace gets the win here tonight. I actually was a little curious. Goodness gracious. Curious going into this who was going to get the win. Armstrong had a lot of, anger and rightful anger going into this, looking to get some comeuppance here. And I thought maybe she would. She's also the Evolve Women's Champion. So I was curious as to whether or not they wanted to protect her really heavily. And they protected her in a way. It was a very competitive match. Some really believable near falls for both women. But Jordan Grace did get the win here tonight. And I would also wonder if that's going to entitle Jordan Grace to a future Evolve Women's Championship match. And, God, that would actually be pretty cool for Evolve. And, it's probably not even a matter if one's willing or not. It's probably a matter if they tell you what to do. But Jordan Grace is definitely a team player. It'd be pretty rad if this led to Jordan Grace appearing on Evolve and, repaying the favor to Armstrong. Now, I'm not usually super duper big on 50-50 booking, but I would accept it here in a case like this because that'd be a pretty cool thing for Evolve. Maybe get some extra eyes on Evolve because Evolve is fun, guys. But yeah, from there after the match, Blake Monroe's music hit, and so did she. She charged down to the ring, and she and Grace brawled briefly until security broke the two women up. It was a very short brawl, but somewhere in there, Blake Monroe got busted open. It's hard to see in the picture I have there, but yeah, she did get busted open and was bleeding just a bit, actually quite a bit. Her hand was pretty covered in blood. Alrighty, so from there, we had a spotlight focus on the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship, Lola Vice. Good vignette here. Lola's over. They reiterated kind of, her background and where she came from and how she was raised and brought up. She talked about how close she was to her mother and how important family was to her. I like stuff like this. People can turn up their nose at it and say it's mushy or too heavy-handed. I enjoy things like this because I think it gives you insight as to who the person really is. And the best wrestling gimmicks are real. They are who that individual actually is, just turned up to 11, as they would say on Spinal Tap. And I think that she's doing a good job with this, mentioning her heritage and how she talks to her mom every day and prays every night. I liked this a lot. It speaks to her virtues and her inner strength, her outer strength. It's good, solid stuff here. I wonder, if Lola's time is coming to take this championship. I would not be angry if it is. There's not a lot for her left to do at NXT, and winning that championship is one of those big things. So I'd like to see that happen for her, but because JC's had a good run, 2-belt JC there for a minute, but I think it's time for Fatal Influence to probably start to fracture apart, and for that to happen, I think JC does need to lose that championship. But God, it'd be cool if Lola was the one to do it. So we'll see here, though. Just a couple weeks away. But all right, so from there, we were back into the NXT arena. Oh, where Andre Chase was ready to take on Josh Briggs. And God, Briggs was fired up from go here, just immediately plowing into the teacher and founder of Chase U, the only institution of higher learning at NXT. This was quick and furious, but there were a couple of hope spots here for Chase. Mr. Chase had some believable moments here. And the crowd was absolutely behind Andre Chase 100%, as Kale Dixon and Uriah Conners were at ringside. During the match, there was a long, loud chant of, "Chase, you can stay, Briggs, go away. Chase, you can stay, Briggs, go away." So again, don't know if Briggs' heat is legitimate heel heat, if it's go away heat, or if it's just because they're pairing him against people that are so loved by the NXT faithful. But yeah, Chase can stay. Briggs go away. Chase, you can stay. Briggs go away. But yeah, guys, poor Andre Chase, like a lamb to the slaughter when it was all said and done. He just gets pummeled and beaten by Josh Briggs here. Briggs getting the 1, 2, 3 and the victory. And you think that that'd be enough for Josh Briggs, but no. This kid, this horrible man, this heel, he's the new Rich Holland, guys. He's the new Rich Holland. He decides that he needs to go and continue the pain and the punishment, and he just shellacks Kale Dixon and fourth generation superstar Uriah Conners. He leaves all of them laid out. So I don't know. I mean, look, here's the thing. if this is the current role Chase U is in, kind of low-end mid-card heat generators for heels, it's fine. Not every moment for Chase U is going to be elevation towards tag team championships. So it's fine. It's a fine use of Chase U. People love Andre Chase. They enjoy Chase U as an institution. People never want to see him lose, but beating him is going to get the reaction that they want for Briggs, and Briggs just running over Kale Dixon and Uriah Conners after the match is going to get the reaction they want for Josh Briggs. So hey, mission accomplished here tonight. So I can't complain. I would always love to see Andre Chase get wins, but hey, is what it is, guys. Is what it is. Alrighty. So ahead of our main event here this evening, we had a quick rundown of next week. We will be getting Javon Evans taking on Josh Briggs one-on-one. So looking forward to that. Hopefully the young OG can get a little bit of vengeance for that nasty chokeslam on that chair earlier tonight. We will also be getting a flag match between Tavion Heights and the North American Canadian champion, All Ego, Ethan Page. So yeah, I believe the last flag match we had was between John Cena and Rusev at Battleground several years ago. So it's been a while, guys, since we've had a flag match. And also announced for next week, the number one contenders triple threat elimination tag match between Fatal Influence, being Jasmine Nix and Fallon Henley, Zarya and Solruka, or Zaruka, if you like, and the Culling, in this instance being Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. I love that it's going to be an elimination match. Longtime viewers know that I'm not big on the fatal four-way or, triple threat concept. I just don't like it. If you can give me a one-on-one or a two-on-two if it's tag, just do it. Just book a match. Be brave. Just book strong. But if you're going to do this, multi-team, multi-person stuff, hey, give me an elimination. I'm down for that. I like it. Here for it. Here all night and every day, guys. Twice on Sundays. But yeah, so that was our announced matches for next week. And right ahead of the break, we had Ricky Saints making his way to the ring for tonight's main event match. And back from the break, I guess Hank and Tank, they entered during the commercial break, which, it's okay. I get it. They didn't get an entrance, but they got something else during the match. So, but the NXT champion, Femi, making his way to the ring after the break. It makes sense. Number one contender, Ricky Saints, and the champion himself getting TV entrances. I understand it. And then, of course, DarkState, the NXT Tag Team Champions, making their way to the ring. And again, I'm assuming that when they defend the championships going forward, that any combination of the two of them will be able to, defend those titles. But yeah, 8-man tag match underway, our main event. This was a lot of fun, guys. I enjoyed the hell out of this one. Of course, part of the story, the will they be able to coexist between Ricky and Oba? And they couldn't. Spoiler, not really spoiler, we're talking about it. They were not able to coexist here tonight, and they ended up brawling with one another to the back midway through the match, which was unfortunate for Hank and Tank, the former tag team champions, as this left them 2-on-4 against the DarkState. And when all seemed at most bleak, when it appeared that the Bellied Bandits were destined to take a loss here tonight, to get beat down severely by the DarkState, Cutler James made a mistake. And not the normal kind of mistake, the kind of mistake where he says something awkward during a promo. No. He uttered the name of Joe Hendry. And of course, saying his name, he will appear. And with his powers of teleportation, Joe Hendry was there, and this led to a really massive distraction, and Hank and Tank were able to get the victory here tonight, securing the victory for their team. I love that it's still announced that Ricky Saints, Femi, and Hank and Tank were tonight's winners, and that's what the record books will show. But in, my heart, Hank and Tank were the winners here. And, they're the former champs, so I assume that they'd be entitled to a rematch regardless, but I think they're definitely entitled to a rematch for those tag titles against the DarkState now. But fun moment here. God, people just love it anytime we get Joe Hendry involved. Just wonder how much longer it's going to be before Joe Hendry is actually on the NXT roster. It's coming, right? Soon, in the near future. But as Hank and Tank were celebrating their win with TNA's Joe Hendry, we heard that there was a commotion in the back. Vic Joseph was shouting, what's happening? Femi and Ricky Saints are doing what? Get a camera back there. And a camera was gotten back there, and we saw the number one contender and the champion brawling in the backstage area, slamming into the door as security tried to pull them apart. The show went off the air, and that was the ending to tonight's program. Good, fun, strong ending. The main event was a lot of fun, a lot of good action. Love the Joe Hendry inclusion there. So Joe Hendry also continues to be a bit of a thorn in the side of DarkState. So really, really liked that. Good times were had by all, except for DarkState because they lost. But the crowd certainly enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed it. I think y'all probably enjoyed it as well. But guys, that is tonight's program in a nutshell. And I think from here, we can pop into tonight's NXT Jobber of the Night. Oh my goodness. Sadness, y'all. Sadness overwhelms. I had a couple contenders here for my jobber this evening. It's a tough call because I feel there's a couple contenders here. One, just because it makes me sad, and the other because it's kind of the sad truth of the appearance in terms of what it was for. But I first want to bring up Xia Brookside. Really excited to see her on the program tonight. Getting an appearance from coming over from TNA. But man, just it being a speed tournament loss. It's just not the best. Not the best showing or reason to be there. And then to kind of split the sadness here tonight, my boys Chase U, just they can't get a win to save their lives. I don't know when the last time any three of the current iteration of Chase U have had a victory on NXT television. At least Andre Chase lasted a while in the match. I mean, Kale Dixon is getting knocked out in 7 to 38 seconds. But yeah, not a good showing for Andre Chase or Chase U here tonight. Not really completely Andre's fault. I mean, he got put into this by Kale and Uriah. But it makes me sad, when Chase U loses. And, sadly, it kind of puts him into that jobber of the night category. I'm sorry, Andre. I'm sorry, Kale. I'm sorry, Uriah. 4th generation superstar, Uriah Conners. But Chase U, Xia Brookside, you guys are kind of my split jobbers of the night. But from jobbers to happier territory and bigger things, we've got the NXT megastar of the NXT megastars of the night. All right, so I have a couple here selected because my first one I want to bring up, not technically NXT wrestlers as it would be, but I gotta talk about DIY and the reaction they got here tonight, the massive pop, the babyface love. they definitely got that mega star response here this evening. Just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, on the active NXT roster side, I got to talk about the young OG Javon Evans putting on a really solid promo here. Like I said, this is a little newer territory for him. But he did a good job here. And then he took that just nasty bump through the chair. And the crowd is solidly behind him here in this. So I want to give him his props. And then I know I'm picking 3 megastars here tonight, guys. But I also want to toss some megastar love at Lash legend, who just continues to improve and continues to impress me week after week. I pretty much think she's main roster ready, but it's a little too crowded up there, so let's just chill out here in developmental until there is a spot that is clear and ready for her. But great match with Jaida Parker here tonight. Great showing with Jaida Parker here tonight, and she got the win against Jaida Parker tonight. So Lash, also a megastar of the night for me. I know, guys, I had 3 there, Lash, Javon, and DIY. So sorry that my megastar of the night was a wee bit crowded here tonight. But guys, that is NXT in a nutshell, and that is the program. And if you had a good time here tonight, guys, well, did you have a good time? Oh, I had a good time. But if the rest of y'all had a good time as well, I've got some good news for you. Dirt Sheet Radio. Yeah, Dirt Sheet Radio isn't just here on Tuesdays, right? Right? No. We are here multiple times a week, breaking down and talking wrestling for you guys when we can. And yeah, we are here on Tuesday nights, every Tuesday night, breaking down and talking developmental brand NXT for all y'all and with y'all. And we are also here on Wednesday nights, where you can check out the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship program, which also includes the AEW Rewind. That's 2 shows for the low price of nothing. Just like all of our content here at Dirt Sheet Radio. So be sure to tune into the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship / AEW Rewind tomorrow night. And then also, guys, on Thursdays, check out our sister program, the TNA Impact Rewind. They are going live every Thursday night, breaking it down, having a good time doing it. And it's pretty much our sister program, guys. NXT and TNA, we're kind of a Venn diagram of wrestling. And guys, on Friday nights, we have SmackDown when we are able to do so. And then on the weekends, guys, be sure to check out the 3NT crew on Sundays when they go live and talk about the week of professional wrestling, everything going in, the major points, the plots, everything, guys. Check it out. Make sure you tune in on Sundays. And then also, coming back, guys, very, very soon, CJ and myself are going to be resurrecting and bringing back the Weekend Wrestling Roundup with a W. We're returning September 14th, guys. I'm looking forward to it. Guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. And if you could give Dirt Sheet Radio a follow on all social media outlets, we'd appreciate that. And after that, if you could give me, Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster, a follow over on Facebook, where I do all my stuff, guys. I appreciate it. It would mean a lot. It's a lot of memes and a lot of fun and a lot of NXT. But guys, thank you for tuning in. For Dirt Sheet Radio, for Molly Holly, I'm Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, live, once again, for Dirt Sheet Radio. Have a wonderful night, guys. We'll see you then.